Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Science Buffs, the ultimate podcast for STEM enthusiasts. I'm Abby,
And I'm Sam.
and we are coming at you with a little bit of a bonus episode. So we like to do these hopefully every other Monday. So be on the lookout. That's when the bonus episodes will be dropping. So we're gonna do a little get to know you Q&A sort of style bonus episode. So we asked on our Instagram for questions so that we can, you guys can get to know us. We can talk all about the good old days in college, basically. So it all came down to like what we studied and stuff like that. So thank you for submitting questions. And if you have not already, go to our Instagram page, Science Buffs, and give us a follow because we are trying to build the community over there. And tag your friend, let them know about the podcast. Let's get let's get some more buffs watching.
Yeah, we're
So
gonna do a giveaway soon. So think of some friends that you want to
yes,
share science buffs with.
yes, we will do a giveaway to commemorate the Christmas giving season. We are going to give away some cool books. Okay, so that's a hint. Go follow. All right. Okay, I have compiled the questions. So Sam, I'm just going to ask, and you can just answer them all first, and then I'll jump in with mine after. Okay, first question: how long have you guys known each other, and how did you meet? We kind of touched on this in an episode, but go for it, Sam.
Yes, we talked about this briefly, but Abby and I met, oh my gosh, I think I said 10, but I think it's 9 years ago, so we're not that old yet.
Yeah, we're pretty
Um,
young.
yeah, I was a sophomore in college and Abby was a freshman. And
Yes.
oh, yeah, that's right. Abby's a nerd. So she took Calc 3. She was taking Calculus 3 as a freshman, which is crazy. And I was a sophomore taking Calculus 3. And it was really hard because you have to do all this 3D visualization stuff. And, anyways, we went to office
So
hours
hard.
and we bonded over Chris Pine, and the rest is history.
Yes. I think that was like my first time in office hours also. Like I finally, I mean, it was early in the semester. It wasn't like I was just trying to do it on my own, but immediately I was like, I need help because this is way too
Yeah.
hard.
Well, that'd be hard as a freshman too, because you didn't have like a study group, or you probably didn't have a
Right.
study buddy yet, really.
No, you became
So,
my my soul study buddy. Well, I just knew if I because there was a split, theory because I took, Calc 1 and 2 in high school, and half the people told me to retake it again, and half the people told me not to. And I was like, I know I'm just going to get B's and lower my GPA further if I retake this. I might as well just get one. So, but we became study buddies over Chris Pine. And there is
yes.
actually debate on who had the wallpaper on their
Okay,
computer.
I swear it was you because why?
Was it? Why would I?
Or
Like,
maybe, oh, okay, so maybe I had the wallpaper because I remember you were wearing a scarf and I was like, I like your scarf, I
yeah.
think.
Or was it
And
the
you were like, I like your
opposite?
wallpaper. I don't know.
Now I can't remember if it was the opposite or if that's like my memory is very foggy
I
at that
know.
time. So I don't know,
But you
but
know,
one
when
of
you
us
tell a
had Chris Pine.
story so many times that you believe that that's the truth, I'm kind of wondering if I believe
Right.
that that's the truth. I don't
Although I
know.
was in like a very intense love of Chris Pine phase. So I could maybe believe that I would have the wallpaper just to be unique. Like look how much I love him.
Yeah.
So maybe, but
And you bought me a Chris Pine cutout, I think, that year.
okay, so maybe it was me that had the wallpaper, and then I gifted you the other Chris
I
Pine
don't remember.
merch. Have you seen? I'm gonna post on the stories this meme that I just sent you about Chris Pine. Like it was
With
like
his headphones
me.
on.
Yeah. It's like me on a very important Zoom call as my cat throws up in the corner.
I sent that to you today, I think.
Did you? I
Yes.
thought, okay, maybe, yeah. See, now I don't know who had it, who sent it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, we honestly, I don't think he has an Instagram or I would just shoot our shot. I would tag him.
Yeah, like
He's
please
like,
come on Science Buffs for an interview.
he'd be like, to talk about what? Star Trek?
Yeah, Captain Kirk. I'm pretty sure he had to like study some science for that role.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Okay, what did you guys major and minor in? What did we each major and minor in?
Well, we both majored in aerospace engineering, which they call it
Yes.
aerospace engineering sciences, which always bothered me for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting.
But I I minored in applied math and you minored in
Computer science.
yes.
So, yep, that is a pretty straightforward one. How did you like your math major?
I
I
liked
mean,
it.
sorry, minor.
Minor. Well, I liked it. Mm, and a lot of people did it because a lot of our what we called we had to take applied math classes, which is like calculus, differential equations, um, like already counted towards that minor. So you could kind of
Right.
double dip. You could get your major in engineering, and then you could only had to take like I think it was like 3 or 4 more classes. And so I minored in applied mathematics and with a focus in probability and statistics. And I actually really liked it. Probability is just a completely different way of thinking. And I feel like I've I'm very confident in math and that's like my sweet spot. I
Yeah.
felt very uncomfortable learning probability because you have to think of things in such a different and unique way.
Yeah.
So it kind of put me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I liked it.
Yeah, that was impressive because you were telling me like when it was happening that you were taking all these probability classes, and that's like the one my mind I can never wrap my mind around probability and statistics. Like in high school, we had to take a class and I would kind of just guess at some point, like, I think this algorithm is what we're supposed to use. That one, probability is hard. It is
It
like a
is.
completely different way. And I feel like your mind, well, I guess maybe if your mind doesn't naturally work that way, you've proved my point wrong already. But I was gonna say, like, you either kind of get it or you don't get it. And like if you don't get it, it is very hard to learn. But good
Yeah,
job.
I remember my professor, always remember this. He was like, I was at a party in college and he was like, I went outside and I realized that the rain was falling in a Poisson distribution. And I was
Oh
like,
my.
I'm like, is this something that I'm supposed to understand? Because I would never look at something and try to like be able to figure out what the distribution is.
That is
So
the nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my
yeah,
life.
he was pretty nerdy, but
Wow.
but it's like the ultimate word problem, I think, probability is because you get this like block of text and you have to turn all the ands into like
Yeah, the like
certain,
symbols and yeah,
yeah.
it's tough. I don't know how
How
you did
did
that.
you like how did you like software? Because I feel like that put you at a good advantage for
Yeah, I did
engineering for
really,
sure.
I really liked what it did to my resume because I feel like I got my
Yeah.
internship basically only because I had the computer science minor because they were looking for it. At the time, I had declared that minor but had not taken any classes, so it was kind of misleading. I like learned most of the software on the job. But the one thing I didn't like about it is well, we had the same thing where a lot of our classes kind of double dipped with like technical electives, I think, and computer science. So it worked. I didn't have to take too many extra classes, but they kind of structured it so I could really take kind of the easier classes and get my minor. And some of the classes they would give you so much like, let's say we were having to code a linked list. They would give you like the code for two of the nodes and like all of the structure of the code and then say like, okay, continue, continue the linked list, write the rest of the code. Really at that point, it's just pattern recognition and just like copy pasting
Copy
and
paste.
changing stuff. So like I got into the real world and I was like, I don't know how to actually set up the code like from scratch. So that was kind of a shell shock like when I was in the job. But overall, I liked it and I learned some valuable things in different languages and stuff because I learned Python and C++ in those classes, which was very valuable. If anyone wants to
Yeah.
go into computer science, anything, learn Python. Just go on Code Academy and learn Python at the very
Yeah.
least.
I wish that I would have. I mean, I like applied math, and actually, when I was a senior, I was like, I should have probably just gotten an applied math degree. I mean, I love aerospace, but like I said, I think I'm most confident with math.
Yeah.
But I think that it would have been more beneficial because somebody even asked me the other day, they're like, "Oh, do you have any like coding experience?" I said MATLAB. I was like, I've used MATLAB a lot. And then they literally responded with LOL. So I'm like, this completely invalidates.
Well, yeah, when I started my internship, it was funny because my manager at the time was like, okay, so here's all our tooling. We're using C++ and Python, but I did submit a ticket for you to get MATLAB installed on your computer just because I know you're an aerospace student and I don't want you to get the shakes.
That's hilarious.
I know you need it for like as a comfort, so I put it on there.
That's really funny.
But like we don't use it in the industry. I mean, at least I know like orbital mechanics, like true aerospace engineering uses it, but most of the jobs I feel like we're getting after college are not that. So I feel like it's useful to learn Python no matter what. But anyway, okay. The next question, how did you decide on your major?
Oh, well, there's two things for me. The first one was when I was in eighth grade, I think. My parents took me to the Kennedy Space Center and we didn't really know what was going on, but we heard by word of mouth while we were there that there was a space shuttle landing. So I actually got to see, I think it was like the second to last space shuttle land.
Dang,
And
that's cool.
I had never cried at that age from like seeing something so cool, but we're watching it and you hear a sonic boom
Okay.
and somebody, I don't know, somebody told me that, oh, the sonic boom is when it re-enters the atmosphere over like Texas and you're going to see it X number of minutes later. And it's really cool because we actually got to see the landing gear just falls out with gravity. It doesn't come down like hydraulically.
Oh
I
wow.
was like, this
That's
is the
cool.
most beautiful, cool thing. And it's just really cool. I don't know. You're like,
Oh
there's
my
people on
gosh.
there. They were in space. I don't know.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was really cool. I showed video to my science class. It was a whole thing.
Oh wow. Show and tell.
And also, if you haven't picked up on it at this point, I'm a big Trekkie. I've seen every episode ever made. My parents and I love Star Trek. We watched it. I'm an only child, so I got to watch it when I wanted to watch it. But yeah, so that's why I picked aerospace because, Star Trek. What about
Yeah,
you, Abs?
Star Trek's a good reason. Mine was also like an experience seeing, mine was a field trip really in, I think it was like sophomore year. No, it must have been like junior year of high school. I think my physics class, we all went to Lockheed actually and saw the sound test for, well, sorry, we didn't see the actual sound test, but we saw the room where like something that they were about to launch was about to get sound tested, like the reverb test. So we saw the gigantic like metal door filled with all the sand, like super heavy, gigantic in this huge warehouse with like a huge American flag on it. And I was like, this is beautiful.
I feel like such a bad friend because I don't think I knew that.
Oh my gosh,
I don't think I've ever heard that
it
before.
was amazing. And then my brother was originally doing petroleum
Oh my gosh,
engineering.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he was like, it was a slump in the petroleum engineering market, I guess. And he was like, I got to get out of here. He switched to aerospace, and I was like, oh, these two things add up. I'm also going to do aerospace. So
Yeah.
it was,
And you guys are 2 years apart.
yes. And we were at CU at the
Yeah,
same time doing aerospace.
I remember seeing your brother in our electronics class, which I had already heard anxiety about. And
Yeah.
I think I asked him, I was like, is this as hard as everyone says? And he just kind of like shook his head. He's like, it's not great.
Well, so here's the difference between us. We would both get like nervous, like we would take a test and both be like, "Oh my gosh, I really think I failed. Oh my gosh, that was so terrible. I failed." And then And then Daniel every single time would say, "Oh my gosh, I got like 20 points over the curve. They've curved it up and I got a 95." And it was like all 4 years of college to the point where I didn't even listen anymore senior year when he thought he failed something. And then like sophomore year, I remember one day when we got 3 test scores back. You probably remember this day. Maybe I think it was sophomore year.
Yes.
I got 3 tests back
Remember that?
and I got a 45, a 55, and like a 62. And I drove to Chick-fil-A. I got a sandwich. I called my mom and I cried and I ate the sandwich in my dorm or in my apartment.
That's a big deal because there's no Chick-fil-A in Boulder.
I drove a decent amount.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
it was so sad. And the next day when I had pulled myself together, I was in every one of those professors' office hours, like, please don't fail me. What can I do to pull this up? And neither one of us failed the class. So
That
let's
is
go us.
really funny. You used to get mad at me because I would do the same thing where I'm like, I think I failed. And you're like, I hate you.
The professors always made it seem like you were going to fail the class. Like there was no, and the big deal at CU for people who don't know, and probably a lot of other schools, is like our department was kind of small. So classes were only offered either fall or spring. So if you fail one class, you automatically add another year to your education. And for a whole year, you basically are taking filler electives with no aerospace because all of them are prereqs stacked on each other. So it was a big deal to fail a class. And the failure, I think, was like a C minus was considered a fail. So we did not get a C minus, which is great.
No.
Great news.
Yeah.
Okay.
We passed.
Next question. Have either of you been to grad school? And do you think it was worth it?
Yes. Well,
yes, both.
I'm currently in grad school, but it's for a master's of business administration, which is boring because Abby has the same master's.
Yeah, we both are going to be masters of business administration.
I actually recently had somebody in my industry tell me not to get my MBA, but I actually find it super value added. At least I'm not even done with my MBA, but when we get like quarterly earnings reports or if you want to go into management, I think it's really important to understand the business side of things.
Yeah, especially if you're going to management, like earned value and stuff. I mean, you can learn it on the job, but it is good to have a background. Also, for a lot of companies, they will count a master's as years of experience towards promotions. So it does help once you have it completed that they will promote you quicker sometimes. So at least for the companies I've seen. So that was good. I did it as quick as possible. CTU, Colorado Tech, has a program that's 18 months long, and you literally just do a class every 6 weeks and you race through that. And I got it done. Like I didn't take a break between, which I didn't realize. It was such a crazy time warp graduating undergrad and starting my master's. I didn't realize I started like 3 months later. I had no real gap between the two.
I didn't realize that, but yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I started like August of 20. Oh wait, no. Oh yes. Oh gosh.
I thought you took like a year.
No, I did. Right. August of 2019 I went. And then I graduated December of 2020. So it was a year. I definitely put that wrong on my application I just submitted for the
I would say do it as soon as you can. Like I wish that I kind of wish that I was done with mine, but also if your employer will pay for it, take advantage of that. If your employer won't pay for it, I don't know.
Yeah. If your employer won't get the cheapest one, if they will, then do the best one that they will pay for. Yeah. Okay. What do you do for work now? Just a little synopsis of your role.
Yeah, I'm a systems engineer and I don't know really how to explain it in a way that I can. model systems in a software, and I write requirements, and I take essentially products through the entire V&V life cycle, software products.
What's V&V, Sam?
Verification and validation through that systems engineering B. But I really like it. I actually started my master's in systems engineering,
Oh
and I
yeah.
probably should have stuck with it, but I was specifically doing space systems engineering, and a lot of it I felt like was a very boiled down version of what I learned in my undergrad,
Yeah.
and I wasn't interested. So,
Well, that is what I like about the undergrad aerospace engineering is it's really kind of encapsulating of a lot of different things. Like there's orbital, but there's also systems, there's also like planes. I mean, we got a lot of context within our classes. So it was probably good that you
yeah,
didn't do that since it's like what you
yeah.
learned.
I was at Johns Hopkins, and it was very expensive
Oh
too.
my gosh,
So,
I totally forgot all about that. It seemed like
yeah,
so long
so
ago. Well, it's good that you're
I
in the one now that you're in.
went to another private school, but so also expensive, but
Yeah,
still good. You
but
were
you
going to go
know,
to University of Denver,
yes, I
and then you
was.
ended up, yeah, fast
It's
tracking
just,
it.
yeah, it's just that it would take so long, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about it. I'm just like so impatient that I was like, you know what, the quickest one, let's get it going. And the school I went to was like a partner school um with the employer. So it was like a
Oh, I
way,
forgot
way
about that.
discounted rate. And that's the only reason why I could do it so fast because they give it to us at like a quarter of the price or something. So that was helpful. So take advantage of those benefits.
Yeah.
I am
What do
a
you do, Abs?
software engineering manager. So, and I'm now part-time, which is super nice. But basically, I just make sure that software products are being delivered on time. And now, kind of that I'm part time, I'm mostly like a functional manager almost, which is like if my direct reports have concerns or any issues or want career development help, stuff like that, I help them with that. But when I'm like assigned a specific program, it's basically like, okay, we need to get through the development life cycle of coding, integration testing, and delivery to the customer. So not, I don't know, that description makes it sound super, super boring. It's more fun than that.
That's like my job too.
Although
I
I
swear.
do love, like, I loved when I was a technical, like, developer, that was really, really fun. Being a manager is fun in its own way, but I would not say it's quite as fun as like being a developer. So, but that's okay. It's all good. Um, okay, did you ever consider any other careers, whether in STEM or otherwise?
I did not really. I think I had my eye set on the prize of aerospace, and I went with it. I always say though, um, I would probably, if money wasn't a factor, I would probably want to be like a vet tech.
That would be cool.
I've
Although
my
a little
Yeah,
sad.
yeah, my grandpa was a veterinarian, my mom's dad, and I don't know, I just obviously love dogs. I have two of my own, and I think I could handle it. I'm a pretty emotional person,
Yeah.
and but I feel like it'd be
I mean,
good.
I just feel like because we discussed last week or 2 weeks ago about how you won't watch the movie if the dog dies. I feel like if it was every day, it might be tough, but I don't
That's
know.
true. So maybe it's good that I'm in
Although
that
you're
career.
helping, you would be helping a lot of dogs too, so that would be good.
Yeah. What about
Well,
you?
um, I
Politician.
I've wanted to do a million things. Yeah, I really wanted to go into political science for a hot minute, and I'm so glad I didn't do that because it's all just really annoying now. So I don't think I would have liked my career for too long. Um, so yeah, I wanted to do that. I'm trying to think of other things I wanted to do. We all went through a marine biology phase, I'm sure. That was
Mm-hmm.
young. But seriously, considering it was like political science or a different type of engineer. And actually, I think I always feel like I've wanted to be a doctor. but they just make it so hard with the amount of school you have to do.
Yes.
You know, I didn't
Yeah.
want to be in school forever. And like the residencies and stuff feel so hard. I really admire people who are going the doctor route because it's like so you're playing the long game completely.
Yeah, financially and with
Yeah, you
age.
come out with so much
Yeah.
debt and the residencies pay almost nothing and you're working always. I feel like all the residents are like the night shift people who are just getting the worst rotations and stuff. Like, I
All
mean,
right.
I don't
Somebody's
really
been
know
watching
anything
Grey's
about.
Anatomy.
I have never seen it, but I just know like a couple people who are always talking about like their residencies and they always are like, oh, those were terrible days.
Yeah.
You know, so it
What
just
kind of doctor
really
would you
long.
be?
Maybe just like a family med.
Yeah.
Or
I like that.
actually, I took an anatomy class in high school and I was very interested in open heart surgeries, which is
My
funny because
dad had open heart surgery.
oh gosh, that seems crazy. But at least, like, I don't know. Are you woozy when it comes to like blood and stuff?
Well, I always say that I wasn't. And then when I saw my dad in the hospital, I got woozy, but I think it was a combination of emotion
That was
and also
yeah, that's
because like blood
understandable.
doesn't really bother me, I don't think.
Yeah, that would be understandable that you would have a bigger reaction when it's your own dad. Um,
Are
but
you,
like
you're not really, are you?
I thought I used to be really, I mean, and this is partly why I ended up not choosing to go to med school or anything because when I was in well, okay, I thought I was not woozy for a long time. And then when I was in driver's ed, I had this like episode where it's so embarrassing.
Oh, the videos that they show you.
Yes, they showed us a video of this woman who had gotten she was like a supermodel, totally beautiful. And this video just was shocking. I was not expecting any of this. She basically got in an accident and her face was like so disfigured that they were like describing it in very graphic detail. And then I was getting a little bit overwhelmed. And I was also like panicking about the class because there was no one that I knew in it. And it was like in this town that was not great. And I was just already not comfortable in class. And then in the video, she goes, yeah, and I lost my eye. And this is actually a wooden eye. And she tapped like on her, what looked like a normal eyeball and it made like a tapping on wood sound and I
Oh.
literally just like collapsed on my desk and I like blacked out, my vision got all crazy, everything that was black looked purple. I was like literally about like passing out and this girl was like, are you okay? And the teacher did not see that I was having this reaction, so she's like, are you okay? And I was like, just passing out.
Oh
I called
my
my parents immediately. I was
goodness.
like, picking up. I was supposed to do like the 8 hour class that day to just knock them all out and pretty much be done. And I was like, nope, I have to do this in 2 hour chunks. Get like I need to go home. And my parents just picked me
So
up.
maybe a doctor is in
Yeah, and from that point on, I pass out at any sort of unexpected blood thing. Like I peeled off part of my pinky nail on accident, and I saw. I mean, it was not a big deal at all. It was just a little bit of blood. Passed out. I can't.
that's
But
crazy.
the open heart surgery, I was fine seeing because, and I think it's just because it's like calculated. Like it,
I was not okay with it because I was fine, like the blood doesn't bother me, but the fact that they literally have to like crack your chest open,
oof, yeah,
that
that's not
bothered
great.
me.
Yeah, I guess that part, I think they
Yeah.
skipped that part in my open heart video.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We
well,
should talk about the science of that because I think that they potentially don't have to do that anymore. And it's only been a couple of years.
that's really cool. Yeah, they can go in like less invasive ways, I think, but
Yeah.
the ribs, that would kind of give me the heebie-jeebies actually.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Do you see yourself switching careers at any point?
I don't know. Professional podcaster is on my bucket list.
Yeah, me too, honestly. So like and subscribe.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I have lots of thoughts on what I would potentially do, but I don't know. It's just hard in this economy to switch jobs.
Yeah,
And I
it
feel like
definitely is.
I've been with the same company now since graduating, and I really like who I work for. So I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like it's pretty I'm in like the best possible situation for like
You are, yeah.
being a mom and working where I can work part-time and I'm remote. So I'm not looking to go anywhere in the near future, but I have always wanted to do like biomedical something, like something in the that kind of mixes the healthcare industry, but is geared towards something engineering.
I have a
So I
friend
could see myself doing
that
something like
does
that.
biomedical engineering. We should interview her.
Yes, that would be really cool.
Because yeah, she is a baller. Because to do biomedical engineering, I think you have to dual major. She had to dual. I
Yes.
remember she had to get her degree in mechanical engineering and like a biomedical is its own thing. I don't know.
Did she
She
go to
had to get two.
CSU?
Yes,
Yes, because I
she had to
looked
get
into
two
that.
degrees. Yeah,
Yeah, I looked into that program and they're like, we have biomedical. And then when you actually kind of look into it, it's like, well, you got to double major and take
yeah,
a lot more classes. So that's very impressive that she got that.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. The other thing that I am fascinated by, which I don't think in any world I'm qualified to like work with, but is cochlear implants is
Oh,
super fascinating to me. And the Cochlear company, well, this company called Cochlear that sells them and works with them is based in Colorado. Part of them, like I see their buildings and stuff. And I was like,
yes.
oh my gosh, I need to like switch over. It'd be perfect. It's really convenient. It's in Colorado. All their locations here are like the billing department or something. So
Of course.
their
I didn't know
engineering
that
is
that
not here.
interested you. That'd be
Yes.
cool.
That's like my ultimate biomedical project. I think that's fascinating that they can restore someone's hearing
Yeah.
by doing that. It's like
Yes. Have you seen those
incredible.
videos of like kids that hear their mom's voice for the first time?
If you want to see
Cry
me,
every
if
time.
you want to see me
Yeah.
cry,
I cry every time.
please show me that video because, and especially
Yeah.
like the kids. I mean, sometimes they're like really confused when the adult, even when adults hear for the first time and they're like trying to not hold back, they're trying to not cry.
Yeah.
That
It's
and dogs seeing their soldiers return home are two things that will make me sob. So
I think that makes most people with a heart sob. So
yeah, well, I'm glad to know I have a heart. Okay, well, that's all the questions we had. So thanks for listening, everyone, to the episode. Again, make sure to whatever podcast platform you're listening to, make sure to follow and please leave us a review if you're feeling generous. It helps the algorithm push it out to more people. So we would appreciate that.
yes.
Any final thoughts, Sam, that you have?
No final thoughts, just subscribe and interact with our Instagram posts because we want to get a good following
Please.
so we can keep this going and so we can do our giveaway.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening and we'll see you next week.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.